Welcome back to the courtroom of Judge Raquel West, where today, the stakes are higher than ever. We have a defendant facing the ultimate charge. Capital murder. The tension in here is a thick, tangible thing. Every word spoken, every subtle glance, carries immense weight. Freedom, and even life itself, hangs precariously in the balance. Stay with me, because what's about to unfold is nothing short of explosive. We're starting with Mr. Trishad Tarrant, charged with capital murder of a person in a prison. The state has announced they're ready for trial and have made a plea offer. Judge West is direct. If there's an offer on the table, she wants a formal rejection today. She makes it crystal clear that once a case is on the trial docket, that initial plea offer is usually off the table. A trial becomes the most likely path forward unless new, game-changing information comes to light. The defendant is now filling out the formal rejection, a move that officially sets his case on a collision course with a jury trial. Judge West is already planning the schedule, and it looks like this trial is happening this year, much sooner than the defense anticipated. The pressure is on. Next up, Lisa Pratt. She's out on bond, charged with theft with previous convictions. Judge West explains that since she's no longer in custody, the responsibility to find a lawyer is hers. The judge gives her 30 days and a clear directive. Talk to at least 3 lawyers. This isn't a suggestion, it's an order. If she comes back without proof of trying, her bond could be raised, and she could land right back in jail. But then, the judge asks a routine question that changes everything. If I test you this morning, you going to have anything in your system? Miss Pratt answers, I do. Immediately, she's sent to the jury box. The legal proceedings just took a sharp turn, and now we wait to see what that test reveals. Now, Precious Eagland faces the court. She's charged with 2 second-degree felonies: assault on a peace officer and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Like the previous defendant, she's out on bond and hasn't hired a lawyer yet. Judge West lays down the same law: 30 days to hire counsel, and she must consult at least 3 attorneys if she can't secure one. The warning is stern and unmistakable. Fail to follow this order, and you risk your bond being raised and returning to jail. The message is simple. Freedom outside of jail comes with responsibilities, and this judge demands they be met. The docket continues with Zachary Turner, facing a first-degree felony for fraudulent use of identifying information. This is a serious charge, compounded by his prior felony convictions. Judge West emphasizes the gravity of his situation. He's given the same 30-day window and the same strict order to seek legal counsel from at least 3 different lawyers. The judge's tone leaves no room for misunderstanding. The consequences for not taking this seriously are severe: a potential bond increase and a trip back to jail. In this courtroom, procrastination is not an option. We're already deep into today's docket, and what's striking is how quickly the mood can shift. One moment, we're dealing with legal formalities and scheduling. The next, we're witnessing life-altering decisions being made in real time. From probation violations to violent charges, Judge West maintains the same sharp, unwavering focus. She cuts through excuses, meticulously weighs every detail, and ensures that no one leaves her courtroom without being held accountable for their actions and their choices. And believe me, we are only halfway through. Now, Joshua Mays is before the judge. He's on probation for burglary, but a motion to revogal has been filed. The state alleges he violated his probation by failing to report, failing to complete required programs. Next, we have Del Johnson, facing multiple charges including indecency with a child and aggravated sexual assault of a child. The defense isn't ready, still waiting on records from school districts and child protective services. Judge West grants a 45-day reset, giving them more time to gather the necessary documents. The case is complex, and getting all the information is critical. The judge's decision shows a commitment to a fair process, ensuring both sides have what they need before moving forward. The next case involves Tyreek Flanagan, charged with indecency with a child by sexual contact. This case has hit a major roadblock. The defense attorney explains there is a critical issue with evidence from a related CPS case that was dismissed in another county. They've been trying to get the records explaining that dismissal, but they keep hitting dead ends. Judge West steps in, refusing to let the case stall. She instructs both the prosecutor and defense attorney to send her a joint email detailing exactly what they need. She's going to personally contact the regional attorney and do whatever it takes to get that information. This is a judge who doesn't just preside. She actively works to solve problems and move justice forward. We now turn to Ramadan Castillo, whose trial for aggravated sexual assault of a child is set to begin in just a couple of weeks. His case is one of the oldest on the docket, meaning it's a top priority. Judge West gives a final warning. There will be no plea agreements after the next docket call. The time for negotiations is over. If anything is going to change, it has to happen now. Otherwise, they're headed straight for a jury trial. The final countdown has begun. Just when you think the day is winding down, a defendant named Mr. Mack is called up. He was late, and Judge West is not pleased. She had already forfeited his bond, but recalls it with a stern warning. You need to be here on time, otherwise, you're going to end up in jail. His case is set for trial in 2 weeks. He is told to stay in touch with his lawyer and bondsman because the next time he is expected in court, it will be to face a jury. A close call. But a powerful lesson in courtroom punctuality. Finally, Michelle Manuel stands before the judge, charged with aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. Her case has been ongoing, and the tension is palpable. What will happen next? We don't know yet, but in this courtroom, you can be sure that justice, in one form or another, will be served. And that's a wrap on another intense day in Judge West's courtroom. From capital murder to last-minute trial preparations, we've seen it all. Today's session, under Judge Raquel West, was a masterclass in courtroom control. It began with the most serious charge of the day, Trasad Torrent, accused of capital murder of a person in prison. From the very first exchange, the gravity was clear. Judge West wasn't just reading charges. She was making sure every word landed, making sure Torrent understood the magnitude of what he was facing. From there, the pace shifted, but never slowed. We saw Elisa Pratt called to answer for her initial appearance. Judge West wasted no time, making it clear that procedure and honesty were non-negotiable. Then came Miss Manuel, who quickly learned how precise the judge expects defendants to be when standing before her. She wanted to delay her sentencing to handle personal affairs, and while the judge showed a moment of understanding, she was firm. The plea happens now, sentencing later. But the conditions were strict. If Miss Manuel gets into any trouble before her next court date, that plea agreement is off the table. It's a classic example of Judge West giving just enough rope, but not an inch more. When Nicholas Gilmore Jones entered, the courtroom energy sharpened again. He was charged with solicitation and pleaded guilty to a deal involving 5 years of probation. Judge West wasn't satisfied with just the plea agreement. She wanted more information. Ordering a pre-sentence report. This tells you she isn't just a rubber stamp for deals. She digs deeper to understand the person and their history before making a final decision. It's a move that ensures the sentence fits the individual, not just the crime. This methodical approach is a hallmark of her courtroom, a reminder that no matter who you are, once you stand before Judge West, the standards are the same. The case is kept rolling. We saw a defendant, Mr. Alim, get a surprise drug test right there in the jury box. Just when you think you'll be seeing it all, Judge West reminds everyone that she is in complete control of her courtroom. There are no corners to cut and no secrets to hide. If she has a suspicion, she acts on it immediately. Then there was Tyreek Flanagan, with a serious case that carried heavy consequences. And Judge West made it crystal clear what was at stake. As the afternoon went on, Ramadan Castillo stood before the bench. The formality of the charges didn't soften the reality. His choices now would decide his future. The judge's tone shifted between measured patience and sharp authority, depending on the answers she received. Finally, Gomez Vasquez was sworn in, the last case of the day. He was on probation for a very serious offense and was now accused of violating its terms. He tried to explain his side of the story, pleading not true to one count and true, but ... to another. Judge West cut right through it. She accepted his plea of true on the second count and scheduled a full hearing for the rest. She made it clear. Explanations are for the sentencing hearing, not for the plea. Even at the end of a long docket, Judge West brought the same intensity she had shown in the very first case. When you step back and look at it all together, today's session wasn't just about paperwork or charges. It was about a judge making sure that every person who walked into her courtroom walked out knowing the weight of their choices. Whether it was capital murder, probation violations, or lesser offenses, the message was consistent. In Judge Raquel West's courtroom, excuses don't survive. Only truth and accountability do, and that's why viewers like you keep watching. Court isn't just about the law. It's about human stories, raw moments, and consequences that last a lifetime. And turn on notifications so you don't miss the next case we cover. Every session brings new drama, new lessons, and new moments you'll want to see for yourself. Until next time, this has been your inside look into Judge Raquel West's courtroom.